Looking at our world from a theological perspective. This is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, August the 1st, 2023. It is currently 6:43 p.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio located right here in Abilene, Texas. Now, if you haven't downloaded the Sermons 2.0 app, you need to go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Google Play, Apple App Store. You need to do a search for Sermons 2.0, or I think you can also search for it. Let me look here. I always forget. There's another way of looking for it that will be maybe more helpful, may get to you faster. I think if you go Sermons 2.0, I'm searching in the Google App Store. You can put Sermon Audio 2.0, Sermon Audio 2.0. Sermon Audio is all run together as one word, Sermon Audio 2.0. If you have not downloaded that app, you need to stop what you're doing right now and download the Sermon Audio 2.0 app. All right. You need to do that. Sermon Audio 2.0. Download that app right now. Now, if you have downloaded that app, you probably have realized there's a lot of content to choose from, right? There are broadcasters after broadcasters. There's live webcasts. There's new sermons being added by the hundreds every day. It almost feels like hourly. There's just so much content. And sometimes, here's what happens. The more content that is available, the less we get from it, right? Because there's so much, sometimes we just don't know what to choose, or we just start taking it for granted. Sometimes when there's less content, then you may say, well, I've only got 5 things, 6 things to choose from. I'm going to choose this. And then you may learn to appreciate anything new that shows up. But when it's just one after another, you can just kind of, whatever. You may not pay attention. But I do my very best to try to get as much as I can out of the Sermon Audio 2.0 app. I really do. I try my best to look at it, look at its features, see how the app is working, how it's not working. If I find something I don't think is working great, or if I have a suggestion, I try to email them saying, well, what about this? And some of my ideas are, I know, just like crazy. But I do believe there has to be a lot of focus on trying to help people discover content. There's got to be ways to help people discover the content. So whenever I find something that I think is interesting, I'm going to do my best. Now, I'm not going to say this is going to be a normal series or anything, but I'm going to do my best sometimes to turn on the microphone going, hey guys, go check this out. Go look at this. Go pay attention to this. Follow this. Now, on the Sermons 2.0 app, when you find a broadcaster you really like, you hit follow, and then anytime they add new content, now you won't get a notification. I keep asking for them to get a new notification, but they haven't yet. But what will happen, I'm looking at the Sermons 2.0 app right now. There's a little tab at the bottom that says feed. When you click on that, then the new content from the people you follow will show up right there. So that, and if you follow a lot of people, then whenever you have the opportunity to listen to a sermon, you need some spiritual food, you need some spiritual nourishment, you need to put your mind on things related to scripture, you tap on feed, you see the newest content, and you just hit play. Now, the thing is, you want to obviously keep looking under the Discovery tab and the Home tab, looking for new broadcasts so that you can add them so you'll have new stuff in your feed. You don't want to just get 4 or 5 and be like, I'm done. No, you want as much content as possible. But again, how do you find that content? How do you stumble upon it? Well, I don't even know how I found it. I don't even know how I stumbled upon it now that I'm thinking about it, but I stumbled upon it, and I'm going to tell you about the broadcaster. I'm going to tell you about 2 series that they are doing. And I'm going to tell you that this has already motivated me that we are going to do a similar series at some point here on the Theology Central podcast at Victory Baptist Church. I don't know if it's going to be more for the church, but I mean, it'll be showing up on the podcast one way or the other. So hopefully if you'll utilize both, you're going to benefit greatly. Now, you know, we've got a lot going on here, right? We're currently still working on the book of Jeremiah. We're supposed to be done with the book of Jeremiah and the book of Lamentations by the end of August. We know that's possibly not going to happen. You know, we're redoing, in a sense, our study on law and gospel. So obviously we're going to keep moving forward on that. You know, we're currently kind of a little distracted working on anxiety and pride and that whole discussion. Now we've got some other things kind of, you know, in the background that we need to work on. I got a book right here called 30 Old Testament Passages with Deeper Meaning. 30 Old Testament passages with deeper meaning. And I desperately want to get to this. I don't know in what way I want to use this, but we're going to use this. It's a book again called 30 Old Testament Passages with Deeper Meaning, The Surprising Significance of Seemingly Ordinary Verses. I think that would be, it gives us 30 passages to look at. That should be fun. It should add a lot of variety. So we want to do that. Also down here, right next to me, I got to lean down to get it. Right here, Spiritual Warfare and the Storyline of Scripture, a Biblical, Theological, and Practical Approach. That looks like it could just be fun to look at. We have done a little bit of work from this book and some just devotional messages. So I want to get to that as well. But, there's another big thing that I've been wanting to do for a long time, for a very long time. And finding this broadcaster on the Sermons 2.0 app has now just basically told me you need to do it as soon as possible. So here's what I want you to do. I've given you time. You've downloaded the Sermons 2.0 app. I need you to open that app. And I need you to search for Shining Light Independent Baptist Church. Shining Light Independent Baptist Church. All right, I'm going to go to the home tab. I'm going to type in Shining Light. Well, if you just type in Shining Light, and it's going to pull up broadcasters. And the third one, Shining Light Independent Baptist Church, Queensland. All right, you should be able to see it. You want to grab that. You want to click on that. Shining Light Independent Baptist Church, Queensland is the location. You click on it, and as soon as you click on it, you're going to see they currently have 227 sermons available. You want to follow that. All right? You want to follow that. Shining Light Independent Baptist Church. You want to follow that. Now, you're going to notice if you go down that you're going to see recent series. There are 2 series I want you to look at. One is called Bible Institute Block Training. Bible Institute Block Training. I definitely want you, and you can even follow that series specifically if you want to, but just follow them as a church, Shining Light Independent Baptist Church. I'm not saying you're going to agree with everything they teach. I'm not going to say you're going to always like it. That's not the issue. The issue is, again, just finding as much content as possible to challenge you, hear different things so that you can learn and that you can benefit. But the first series is Bible Institute Block Training. Bible Institute Block Training. So far, they have 25 sessions. 25 sessions. Now, anytime I see anyone trying to do this online, I got nothing but respect. Because I had an idea of doing something similar. I was going to call it the VBC Bible Institute podcast. And we produced a lot of content. None of it was really great, but it became very obvious. If I'm going to do the work that I need to do for the VBC Bible Institute, I'm going to be taking away from the Theology Central podcast. So then do I put all of my focus over here? It was too much trying to do church, trying to do the Bible Institute. Then I was going to do I mix the Bible Institute with the church? Then I thought about doing that. Pandemic happened. There was just a number of things. Now, from that failed experiment for the VBC Bible Institute podcast, that's what created the Bible Study Exercise Series. The Bible Study Exercise Series really came out of that failed experiment. So it wasn't completely failed. But when I see someone doing this, it's awesome. Now, it looks like they have multiple men teaching. That really, when you got a team of people, that really helps. When you're doing it by yourself, it's not so easy. But they have 25 sessions, they say up to 25 sessions. However, They only say 19 sermons. So I don't know if there's some of these. It looks like some of these may be missing. I don't know. But, and they're not in order, as well. They need to, you need someone to work on your sermon audio dashboard. I can help you out if you need. All right. But okay, here you go. Session 1, the first session I want you to listen to is literal interpretation of the Bible. Literal interpretation of the Bible. Now, supposedly, you have literal interpretation of the Bible session 1, literal interpretation of the Bible session 2. Now, I'm thinking that should be literal interpretation of the Bible part 1, literal interpretation of the Bible part 2. But session 1, session 2 at least lets you know it's 2 different parts. I want you to listen to those. Also, they have a number of sessions on dispensations of the Bible. They have Dispensations of the Bible is session 5. Dispensations of the Bible part 2 is session 7. Dispensations of the Bible part 3 is session 8. I don't see. Here's Dispensations of the Bible part 4 which is session 12. Literal interpretation and dispensations of the Bible. I would challenge you to at least listen to all of those sessions. Now, interesting enough, not only are they talking about dispensations in their Bible. Now, you should listen to all of the things in the Bible Institute training, even if you disagree. I mean, it's free teaching just right there on the app. So again, download the Sermons 2.0 app, do a search for Shining Light Independent Baptist Church, Shining Light Independent Baptist Church. All right. You should have no problem finding them. Follow them as a broadcaster. Go down to the series, Bible Institute block training, start listening to all of it, but put your focus on literal interpretation of the Bible, literal interpretation of the Bible, and dispensations of the Bible. You definitely should listen to those to get yourself started. But you'll notice they have a separate series called Dispensations Through the Bible. Dispensations through the Bible. So far, they have Dispensations Through the Bible Introduction, and then Jew, Gentile, and the Church of God. And if you know anything about biblical hermeneutics, some of the debates about eschatology, some of the issues about Israel, has Israel been replaced? You know that one is going to deal with some of those issues. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Because I've seen this, and this has challenged me and inspired me a little bit. What we are going to do is we are going to start a series at some point on the basically dispensationalism. What we'll try to do is a little bit of history of dispensationalism. Now, we may look at some view the history of dispensationalism as a negative thing, and they say that disproves its validity because the history is called into question. I'm just going to try to get the facts of the history without really trying to get into the conspiratorial concepts, because what some people do is if an idea in theology shows up, and say, well, it's not the oldest idea. So then they go, the oldest idea just defended, it has by definition has to be right. But it's not who said what first. Is it scriptural? That's the idea. It's not well, that theology didn't show up to 600 AD. The issue is it scriptural? Right? Now, we can't just put a date to something and go, that proves whether it's right or whether it's wrong. Now, I know there will be many people who'll debate me on that, but that you can have that. I could argue, well, you can find infant baptism early on. Maybe you can. I don't believe it's biblical. So then I believe earlier on, we can just go into circles about that. The question is, if the Bible's the final authority, then we have to see, is it biblical? And that gets into a whole issue. But we will start at some point. We're going to do the history of it. We're going to do the basic teaching of it. Then we're going to try to treat it in my typical teaching fashion. I'm going to say, here's this hypothesis. Here's this interpretive model. It's called dispensationalism. And yes, we know there's moderate dispensation, maybe extreme dispensation. We can get into all. There's progressive dispensationalism. I know there's all these like flavors of it. But what we'll do is try to just outline the basic parts of it. Now, this will help supplement what we're going to do, and we may do some review, analysis, and critique of what they have done as to add to what we're doing. But I would challenge you. Now, I have something queued up. I want to review it right now. but we won't review it right now for this. I just wanted to turn on the microphone to say, hey, look, that Sermons 2.0 app, here is something specifically, and start listening to it. And if you start listening to it, please email me, newsif@yahoo.com, what you're listening to, what you thought about it, if you took notes, if you have questions, because it's easy for me to take your email and go, oh, here we go. We won't even make it a part of a series. We'll just say, we're going to work on this question about this subject. And give me the timestamp from the audio where your question or your confusion comes from, because then it's easy for me to grab the audio and then use it. And then, well, there we go. We got a podcast episode without even doing any work. So that's always beneficial to me. So let me do this one more time. Here we go. On the Sermons 2.0 app, look for Shining Light Independent Baptist Church. Shining Light Independent Baptist Church. Once you find it, hit follow. There you go. All new content from them will show up in your feed. There you go. That's a benefit. All right. Then go down to recent series. Bible Institute block training. And the Bible Institute block training, I want you to clearly listen to all the sessions dealing with the literal interpretation of the Bible and all of the sessions dealing with dispensations of the Bible. Now, by all means, you can look at the rest and see. All right? Now, you may find some things in here we're going to possibly disagree with, right? I mean, I'm much more, obviously I'm reformed in my soteriology, right? I'd be quote unquote one of those Calvinists. There's probably a high chance that they're not. Okay? Right? That's fine. So when it comes to maybe the fall, man's nature, how are they? Are they going to be Augustinian? Are they going to be Pelagian? Right? Well, but that's the good thing. You get to hear all of these different things and struggle with it. And guess what? It's free. So why would you not use it? All right. So just start working on all of those. And then the other one is Dispensations Through the Bible. They've got 2 episodes so far in Dispensations of the Bible. We're definitely going to do some things with this. But Dispensations Through the Bible introduction, and then Jew, Gentile, and the Church of God. And what's sad here is the numbers, right? Dispensations Through the Bible, it looks like it's only been viewed or watched 7 times. Jew, Gentile, and the Church of God only been viewed 14 times. The Bible Institute ones, literal interpretation of the Bible, 133. So they definitely, they're doing really good on that one. Literal interpretation of the Bible, 81. Dispensations, most of them, one's 84, one's 50. Okay, they're doing really good on some of these. Some of these they're doing really good. Some of the numbers are really, 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 really low. But hey, let's increase their numbers, right? So go, please, go listen, please, listen, subscribe, and then tell me what you think. All right? Tell me what you think. Now, maybe we will do a little review on their literal interpretation of the Bible. Now, the audio of this is not great, but I've got it kind of queued up, ready to go. So we'll possibly get into it. I skipped a good portion of their introduction where the person's really just kind of telling more about himself. I wanted to get to the teaching. So maybe we can do that in a couple of hours. Maybe we'll see. I don't know how many I can do tonight, but I would. And someone sent me a sermon link for something on a sermon on the Sermon on the Mount, which would fit perfectly. Because if you listen to our Law and Gospel today, we were in the Sermon on the Mount. Well, actually, we were in the Sermon on the Mount twice today. Our anxiety passage came from Matthew 6, and then I did the whole Matthew 7:21 test today as well. So maybe we can review that as well. Who knows? But there you go. I wanted to at least turn on the microphone and say, hey, go benefit from this. Go benefit from it. Again, whether you agree or disagree, you can, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not here because someone will email me going, well, they said this and what about this? And they said this and what about this? And okay. And just listen to only things that agree with you and then you'll be happy. Okay. It's that old saying, the only person who has their theology right is yourself and everyone else is wrong. Okay. Look, there's times to call out other teaching that is wrong. I got no problem with it. But even when I feel that it's wrong, I still look for how I can possibly benefit from it. Obviously. Now there comes a level where you're like, okay, this is just madness, but we'll see. we'll see. I just want to point it out to you. I'm definitely going to do some listening of it and exploring it. And then I don't know when, but we're going to be working on some dispensational concepts. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. All right. That'll be coming up soon. I'll keep you posted. All right. I feel like I didn't do much here, but I really did what I set out to do. I wanted to turn on the microphone and say, hey, go check this out. Right. And I, if you go check them out and are like, well, then I'm never going to listen to you again. They're better. Then that's fine. That's okay. I'd rather lose listeners, but helping people find the right content than gain listeners and keep people from good content. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. There you have it. There you have it. Email me, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. Remember the Sermons 2.0 app, download it today. And you can type out Sermons 2.0 in your app store of choice or Sermon Audio 2.0, download the app. Look for Shining Light Independent Baptist Church, follow them. And while you're there, you may want to search for Theology Central and follow us. I mean, come on, I can't just forget us, right? I mean, all right, there you go. All right, thanks for listening. Everyone have a great night. We'll be back in a couple of hours. God bless.